Happy Friday, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. On this, cloudy, gloomier setup. We haven't had a lot of clouds this week, right? So I guess we're due for a kind of a sleepy day today. Today is certainly that. It's a Friday that looks like a Monday. Hope everyone's well. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to Storm Talk, if I can talk. The blog update for today. Everyone's waking up early. Good morning, everybody. Hello, Diana, and to Brian. Hope all is well in Ohio there, Brian. We have some updates, certainly to the rain and temperature setup today, and of course, the system for next week. So kind of just a freshening up of some of the ideas that we covered yesterday. I won't go through all that again because that was a long blog yesterday, but if you're watching, you know what I'm referring to. So let's dive right in. And some of this I'm going to need your help on, just FYI. So let's start with the current setup in downtown Louisville, where clouds have been increasing throughout the overnight. It looks like it's about to rain at any moment. Some of these cloud bases still fairly high up, and that is important because that tells us the air is still quite dry. Once the cloud bases themselves get a little bit lower and lower and lower, that tells us that we're getting a better opportunity to get some rain down to the ground level. And some of you right now are indeed getting some raindrops, but it is a fight because there's so much dry air sitting right over a good chunk of wave country that a lot of these raindrops, when they fall out of the cloud, they just, again, evaporate. So the radar can light up, but to get the reality down to the tree line, a bit more of a challenge. And as I mentioned yesterday, that process of the rain evaporating as it falls like that is a cooling process. And that can cause the thermometer to certainly be slow to rise at all in areas that will see the majority of that taking place versus this afternoon when you actually shut off any type of moisture that's over your head. Could even get a bit of thinning of some of the clouds, as you'll see in a second. That is where you could get some bonus warmth today. And I'm talking well into the 70s. But it won't be for everyone. But it could be you. It could be you. And I hope it is you for a nice little bonus setup. Right now, it's, well, no one's getting that right now. Right now, it's just a chilly, again, cloudy setup outside. 43 into Louisville. We got 42 at Fort Knox. 45 as you head into E-Town. At the moment, and about 45 into Columbia. By the way, I noticed there is a bit of a delay, I think, in my motions right now. The computer is not happy with me today, so I apologize if I'm moving like really slow. I promise I'm moving faster than it looks like I am on the image there. All right, so it is Friday. Here's the radar showing the light rain, and again, it's lit up across wave country, showing the showers have been popping since early this morning, especially across near Bardstown, all the way down into Adair County. And if you're in those areas, if you're in Nelson County, Marion County, Taylor, Greene, even back toward Orange County in Indiana, let me know, do you have any raindrops at all falling out your window at the moment? Because so far, looking at the rainfall reports, I have one, at least from Emping, that came in, and that's not even in our area. It's back toward Hancock County into Kentucky. So, and even the rainfall amounts only had two spots that have measured anything, and that's 1/100th of an inch of rain. And I think that's going to be a common rain total for the day today. So this is not going to be a decent rain producer. Now, what could change with that would be around, let's say, 11 o'clock tonight. I do see a narrow window where there could be a band of showers that may form very close to Louisville, all the way up to about 71. That could be something to give us maybe a few hundredths or up to 1/10 of an inch. That's possible. I'm seeing hints that may form, but that would be, again, about 11 o'clock at night if it were to do so. Brandon, yep, it's raining here in Marion County. How hard is it raining, Brandon? Is it very, very light rain, or are you seeing just more like a spotty sprinkle drizzle type scenario? No rain there into Elk Creek. Thank you. Appreciate that, Connie. Very light rain into Orange County. Thanks, Dennis. All right. Your report's up, guys. I appreciate it. And again, we're going to need your help all day today. So as you get some rainfall amounts, if you get anything in your gauges, send me a tweet or message on Facebook or comment here on the blog, and we'll see it. And that way it'll help us throughout the day on verifying how quickly the air is saturating. All right, here's a wider view showing this little blob of moisture is the one that is going to cause, if there's any temperature delay today of keeping some of you stuck in the 50s for highs, it will be with the blob that's moving in now because it'll drift into the I-64 area and then near Cincinnati this afternoon. It's going to be very slow, but that will be the pocket of cool weather. The bonus areas that could get some 70-degree warmth today and a bit of sun would happen here, where the northern side, that low pressure, which is easy to see, the spin right there, by the way, in the arc. Fairly close west of the Arklatex area, but not far from it. That's the main path of the low, but north of that, right there, is where we've got the sun trying to come out, and that pocket is going to move into southern Kentucky. And I think if there's going to be anybody can get some bonus warmth today, it'll come from Tennessee moving into southern Kentucky. But if you're north, your odds are not as great, unfortunately. Light sprinkles, thanks, Rhonda, into Bloomfield at the moment. Dry in Floyd County. Brandon says it's definitely light there into Marion County. Laura says sun's trying to come out in Greenville. Unfortunately, that won't last long, Laura. Sorry. That's clouds are moving your way. Dale, my part of Linden is drier now. Yeah, there's not much happening in Louisville, although again, it looks like it's about to, but we're not quite there yet as far as saturated in Louisville. But that should change as we get throughout the day. Okay. Meanwhile, it's worth mentioning before I get back into the setup on the rain. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Seeing the snow that is breaking out across areas of Illinois and Iowa and southern areas of Wisconsin. In fact, the system is locking up. Hopefully, they'll play out for me. Take a gander at this. This is live right now in Rockford, Illinois at the moment, showing the current setup with that snow that is falling there. Again, that's into Rockford at the moment there. What a beautiful shot. I love the flakes. The flakes are massive. Isn't it just beautiful? Very peaceful, especially on this Friday. You can tell no one's going to work today. Probably no one's going to school either by the looks of that. But what a beautiful, beautiful shot. And this is not even the main snow that's going to be hitting the Minnesota area as we head into this weekend and early next week. This is a separate front that we're talking about there that is moving through at the moment. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Got that was very, very, very beautiful outside. Of course, I am biased on that opinion. All right, so that is the front that may try to give us maybe a shower as we head into later on for tomorrow morning. But more importantly, that front, more than anything, will bring in the colder air. Obviously, it's got cold air with the snow, but that colder blast of air and a cold wind coming our way as we head into Saturday. Okay, here's Futurecast. It's updating right now. I will say it's a little different than what you're about to see. Unfortunately, what I've seen already on the data is not updating our systems yet. But to give you an idea, it does generally show that cool pocket. You see the lower 50s. This is 2 in the afternoon. 51 North Vernon, 61 in Jeffersonville, 62 in Louisville, but lower 70s in our southern counties. Advance out a little more. Getting a few showers right around 70, 72 in DeCordon, near 70 in Louisville. But the new runs that are coming in, not so aggressive on this rain here. More than anything, they've got, again, mid to upper 70s that try to form in this area of Kentucky. But in Louisville, I think if we're going to get any warmth at all to get us in the 60s, it's going to be last minute after 3 o'clock or so today before we see that little jump upward there. But, hey, I'm optimistic on that. Here's that band, though, around the 11 o'clock hour that I mentioned that could form on the far northwest side of the track of the low. The low is way down in Tennessee here. So the very northwest side, there's decent agreement. A lot of the modeling coming in. There could be a narrow band near Louisville and 71 of a few showers. I think that's our best opportunity, really, to get measurable rain out of this for a lot of, especially in Louisville. Otherwise, it'll move out. The front moves on by, dries us out. We get cold and windy with an improving looking sky, though, as we have throughout the day on Saturday. Those wind gusts will start to ramp up before you even get to sunrise tomorrow morning. It's going to be around 30 miles per hour early in the day. Rainfall forecast, again, not very impressive. You see some spots closer to the low, a little higher. That little band at 11 o'clock, I think it's going to be key on getting measurable rain, though, for a lot of you that are watching. Wind tomorrow up to 30, 35 miles per hour. Again, a cold, due north wind coming our way. Later on Saturday, don't forget, we do have an eclipse event. Our friend, Mark Stephen Williams, Mr. Stargazer himself. You guys used to listen all the time to George Norrie on WHAS radio. I used to do that all the time as a kid. I know. I was a nerd right out of the gate. But But Mark is great. He was with us during the eclipse time in 2017. He's holding an event at the Jeffersonville Free Public Library coming up at 3 o'clock tomorrow, 3 to 4 o'clock. It is a free event. He's got some cool stuff to show you guys on how you make your own kit for multiple people to watch the eclipse. If you don't have glasses available, there's options that he can kind of explain for you guys. So Mark was on Wave Country earlier this week. But again, just want to mention that. And we'll be talking obviously a lot more about the eclipse in the next couple of weeks. We're starting to crack down, getting to the weather window for that one. All right. For the weekend, I mentioned it's quiet. Next week, here comes the strong low pressure. And boy, this one's a mean one. Some of the pressures here across areas of Colorado into western Kansas could set records, which would allow for a very windy setup. And severe weather is going to be a problem, certainly down here across Texas and Louisiana, as that system rolls on out with, again, very heavy snow into Minnesota, into the Dakotas out of that. But for us, still not seeing all the ingredients lining up for severe weather in our area. It's such a narrow corridor. The red area indicates a little more of the fuel, and you can see it's just got a limit to it. It's just not a straight in flow right into wave country there. And with it arriving early in the day on Tuesday, we just don't have any chance to heat up at all or get any sun breaks. You know, sun's bad this time of year when you have a storm set up. So everything still looks like it's mainly just a wall of rain and wind. So that's not terrible. We can handle that. But Tuesday still looks to be the day. It's going to be a little rough just getting around as far as rain and wind, messy roads, that kind of idea. But still looks like the severe parameters are staying across the I-20, I-10 corridor. The high-res modeling cannot see the system yet. So that's the only thing that could still change over the weekend is if we start to develop any of that fuel a little further north up 65. Well, that could be a bit of a game changer because this thing does have some decent wind fields with it. So that does bear watching. So I don't want to downplay it entirely, but so far the odds are indeed on our side. Okay, so as that moves on by, the secondary low is still there. GFS still wants to bring it right into Kentucky, Euro, a little more of an angle to the northeast. Either way, it looks a little faster than it did yesterday. With the two ideas of two lows kind of sharing the same front, we could still get a good inch of rain out of this, which we actually need. So that wouldn't be a bad thing, but that would be sacrificing Tuesday and Wednesday for rain the way it's looking right now as that moves on by the area. And then as we head toward Easter, the biggest challenge here for Easter is a low pressure. It's a very compact low, but the problem is still a blocking setup that is happening here in the eastern United States and Canada. So this low pressure, what it does, it becomes going from a circle, typical circle look to it, to much more an elongated type of trough that forms. And because it's basically trying to head east, but it's hitting the brakes, and part of it is still got momentum and going forward, while the other part is kind of like trying to, hang back. So that creates kind of an odd look to the low, and it also creates a timing problem, whether it's a situation where rain and thunder can move in on Good Friday, or it would be on Easter. That still has to be decided. So a very low confidence outlook, by the way, for Easter holiday weekend, just because of this feature right here and how it progresses across the nation's heartland. But once it moves by, yet another system lines up, very similar to what the past few have turned out to be. Snow in the Rockies and the plains, severe weather in the deep south. This will be our system that should arrive roughly around April 3rd. We'll get another break, and then we get close to eclipse time. And the storm track will not slow down. It'll stay with several systems lined up. So that's where timing will matter. And hopefully next week we'll be able to give you at least some of the first ideas on some of that timing. But as far as forecasting the cloud cover for the eclipse, we're likely not going to know that until right around April 4th through the 5th to give you a better idea on that. It's going to be down to the wire, but that's how cloud cover goes in forecasting. All right, any questions? Short and sweet today. What'd you say? Schools don't shut down in the north because of snow. Well, yeah. Sometimes they do just for an excuse to relax, right? But yeah, I know we are way different down here than up there. Dave, had enough of severe weather and I'd rather have snow versus tornadoes. Me too. And these cold shots of air to come in, I don't see it. I mean, we do have a hard freeze scenario Sunday morning, but if we have an additional freezes, and I'm sure we will, snow is actually a huge benefit this time of the year. It really does protect a lot of the flowers out there. So snow's not a bad thing in the spring, as it can be a benefit. And it also helps in your ground moisture too, because you don't want those freezes to be come through on a dry note, because then you have a lot more damage, a lot more work too to cover the flowers up. Actually, what about during the day on Tuesday if the sun comes out? If the sun comes out Tuesday, yeah, there could be some thunderstorms and there could be some fuel in the area. And I think that's kind of the difference in the modeling right now. There's just not a lot of hope on getting any sun breaks. It is such a very saturated look all day with cloud cover that would be our limit. But we'll be watching, actually, I promise, as we get through the weekend. Chris, is CSU seeing anything through next week? They are not, and that's the reason why I haven't posted any images. Everything it's focusing on is across the Southern Plains and the Deep South, and so that's the reason why that I haven't been showing anything on the severe outlooks or the data because there's really nothing to show. So we'll watch that. I do think later in April is going to be a much different story, though. I think late April and May is going to be busy, busy, busy. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. It's Friday. I'm tired. I'm sure you're tired. We still have a long way to go. It's still early in the day, right? I'm going to look over more of the rainfall amounts and trends and reports for midday. I'll have those updated values, and we'll see if we can adjust those temperatures as well as we head into midday. I'll have that again coming up for you guys at 11 a.m. All right, I'll see you guys then. Have a good weekend. Behave yourselves. Stay out of trouble. And I will see you guys coming up on the flip side. Take care.